So you are live.
Okay, Ji. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Rehan. I'm the founder of Digital Miles. Uh, with me, I have a very esteemed panel, uh, and today we're going to talk about use of AI in our daily lives. I'll just take a minute or so to just sort of very quickly introduce the panelists. Uh, I think most of the people know each other, and some of these people are sort of also industry experts. So I'll start with Samad Salim. He's the CEO of DigiTrends. I think, yeah, you are there. And it's a company that focuses also on the healthcare side as well when it comes to IT. Welcome, Ji. We also have Rizwan Akhtar, is the CTO for Inbox Technology, a very well-known company who has been operating in Pakistan for quite some time and making real impact in the lives of the people. We have Mr. Munir Ahmed. He's the executive director of United International Group. He's also a PhD scholar, so eager to understand his perspective on AI. And then we have Mr. Mustafa Tarek. He's the CEO of CMC M3 MTech Solutions, which is basically an online media management uh, and I think search optimization company. And then last but not least, we have Ahmed Ibrahim. He's the director of fellowships at Code for Pakistan. It's an NGO which basically is trying to create open source technology for civic use cases, right? So welcome everybody. I think एक दो दिन पहले CXO Global had also organized another AI topic-based webinar, and there, the panelists talked about the specific issues around AI and how AI is sort of improving how people are sort of operating or getting their jobs done. So आज का जो topic है इसमें I would like to sort of us to focus on how it is making an impact or how it will make an impact for common people in daily lives in normal use cases. So we're not talking about, I mean, I think with chat GPT and everything, some of the use cases are very, very evident. आपने कोड रिव्यू कराना है, आपने कोई एप्लीकेशन रिव्यू करानी है. In fact, the questions I asked Chat GPT to give me some questions, and so it gave some output as well. But beyond that, just being curious or just vetting information, let's just talk about some of the specific use cases which you think are possible right now, which you are already sort of thinking about, or you're started to sort of implement as well. So, with no sort of particular order, let me start with Rizwan. You're on the left side of my sort of screen. How do you see AI and whatever your company is doing? I mean, what do you think are the most significant application or potential that you see that can really, have an impact on the lives of the people, especially Pakistan?
Thank you so much, Rehan. It's great to be on this forum again. Coming to your question, with regards to the overall AI, there is a lot of conversation going on, especially with Chat GPT and the way it has actually permeated the society. Uh, Prior to Chat GPT, the average human being, the average computer user, was not aware of how AI was actually impacting them. So for them, this was actually an unprecedented exposure. From the AI's perspective, yes, the prompts also enabled the AI to learn a lot from that. So that was a great starting point from there on. So that was a major change. But in terms of the common man, there have been a lot of things going on. I mean, we have Samad sitting over here who has been working a lot in the healthcare sector and with the AI applications as well. There is a lot of work going on in Pakistan in terms of the agriculture side as well. On that, we have also been engaged, and we have been doing some work on different projects related to that in terms of the data analytics and then use of AI for predicting the different outcomes. In terms of healthcare, we also did something very interesting when we were engaged with in the COVID scenario. So we worked as Inbox worked with the NCOC, the National Command and Operations Center, and that was actually also something which really because when we did the data analytics and we were able to predict the hotspots, the COVID hotspots, which actually enabled the smart lockdowns. So Inbox was very proud and privileged, and this was a CSR initiative, by the way. We didn't get any money for it. So that was also another thing that really impacted the common man. Other than that, now where things are headed, I believe as the discussion progresses, there will be a lot of unpacking that would be done. But I feel that with ChatGPT and the way it has enabled people to interact with AI directly, uh, with applications like Agent GPT coming in, with the situations in which we are going to see different roles being performed directly, typical roles like a marketing manager being replaced entirely, of market research being done entirely by that. So there is a lot of things with Agent GPT and these sort of things that are going to keep coming in. So it's a very interesting conversation. I'm really looking forward to having listening to everybody else as well on this.
No, thank you, Rizwan. And I think what you have sort of highlighted, and what at least I have sort of gathered so far in terms of the impact of AI, is that yes, people are using it to perform better, to sort of automate or to do smartly some of their tasks, whatever you're doing. But then when it comes to consumers, and I'd like Ibrahim to respond to it, because you're an NGO who's looking at the civic society and the impact of it. So when I, as a user, as a consumer, as a citizen, interact with AI-based technology, so do I have to learn something? Because in ChatGPT, even you need to be smart to ask smart questions. Otherwise, you'll get a very average answer. So, is there something that we as a citizen have to learn, or will it actually replace? Do you think a human interaction where I stand in front of somebody and ask questions which may be dumb, and there's a cross questioning that the other person can do, and as a common man with an average IQ which is lower than the country, I can get my things done. And we have to think about those people as well, not just the smart engineers or marketeers. So how do you think it's going to impact? Are we going to create some excluded populations which are not going to be get the benefits, and while the smart people can ask intelligent questions and get their things done very, very quickly? What's your perspective?
Thank you, Rehan Sahab. I think that's an interesting question. So I think there are two sides to this question. So AI has been around, I think, for quite some time, but it rose to popularity after ChatGPT. And the magic behind ChatGPT is its natural language processing capability. That you can go and you can prompt it, you can ask it a natural language question, and it responds to your queries. So I think to your question that whether we would need some sort of eligibility criteria or a minimum education requirement, I think for that to happen, we need to work on at least the natural language processing for Urdu language. So we need to incorporate Urdu language so that anybody, a citizen, for instance, can go to a chatbot and ask a query. That query can be, a citizen service related. That how to acquire, for example, a driving license, or how to acquire a birth certificate for a child, or to a marriage certificate, etc. So I think what ChatGPT does is that it enables anybody with the capability to ask questions, and the AI responds intelligently. And the fact that it does that, there is a lot of research going on around transformers and natural language processors. And the fact that OpenAI has made its APIs open, so anybody can build applications on top of that. So I think over the years we'll see more simplified versions of ChatGPT, perhaps a version where you don't have to ask either by voice or by written command, but through symbols. for for more remote populations across the globe in the global south, where people don't have normally have access to the internet. But it will become more prevalent. It will be integrated in more and more services. Banking is a service. I think its outreach is to different stratas of the of the society. So I think there will be banking applications, there will be healthcare related applications where there will be more natural language capabilities incorporated. But I think that does not discount the fact that we need to work on educating people, and AI can facilitate in that front as well. I think there's a lot of scope for uh, educational and training resources that can be developed using AI technology. So I think the amount, the pace, and the rapid innovations that are happening in the AI industry, I think it won't be long that we'll be seeing more and more applications that are more inclusive, and that allows everyone and anyone to participate through prompts or through creative input. So I see a lot of potential there. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Munir Saab, you're also a PhD scholar. So, what do you think about, is this technology a great equalizer, or will it actually create some divides into users and not users? एक तो believers और non-believers है ना वो vaccine care, वो तो एक divide will flow होगा. So I think there will be some people who will think कि नहीं, it's always good to sort of talk to a human, and I am not going to talk to a machine, depending on what is the sort of discussion. But what is your view? Is it a technology which you think is going to create a divide? What are we seeing? So is it creating a divide, or is just something that we all going to embrace quickly? And we are already seeing a lot of growth internationally.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank CXO, and then I will answer your question. I will answer this question in a different perspective. When Salim Saab was saying, he answered the question in a very detailed way. But the second perspective is, like, I give you an example because I'm teaching some machine learning courses as well. Being a human, when you are in a class environment, a student will ask a question for anything one time to the teacher, and second time he will feel shy. So using these GPT models, this natural language processing, and these learning capabilities which machine learning and deep learning is gaining, we will see a different scenario now. That this chat GPT, you ask how many questions you want, you will keep repeating, and you will get different answers. So with the passage of time, you will learn that you can ask a better prompt day by day. I will give you an example. I am teaching PhD students as well. So we are observing that some students, those who are not good in the previous semesters, after the chat GPT, they are even more smart. What they are doing is that they are compiling different papers using chat GPT and Copilot from Microsoft, and they are coming with more wow ideas. So I believe that the advancement in this AI will enable different students, those are hesitant in the class environment, and they are not able to ask so many questions. And also for a teacher, I'm a teacher, so it is not possible to answer a class of 60 students equally. So I believe that using a transfer learning to these GPT models, universities are working on it. As a researcher, we are also working on these model, so that a student or researcher or even a corporate organization, they can have access to a friendly interface where they can prompt whatever they want. I will add another example. In my office environment, I have two assistants. Those are writing different letters and different memos for me. uh, you believe it or not, last 2 months I never called them even a single time. They draft a letter for me. So I'm just opening a chat GPT or Copilot, just drafting a letter. I am having a conversation with them that change this, I did this changes. So I'm giving them a final copy, which is in my mind. So I believe that AI will empower almost all the society, I believe. There will be only a problem that in perspective of Pakistan, that where there is a problem of bandwidth and internet access or the smartphones. Yes, there will be some challenges, but otherwise AI will empower, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you for your perspective. So Mustafa, before we started, you're talking about how your company has been using AI for some years now. So what's the biggest use case? And I believe a lot of your clients are international, but locally as well. How do you see the use? And I'll keep insisting on the question, trying to get your perspective as well. Do you think it's a great equalizer, technology wise, or it's going to create a divide as well, where some will use it and progress further and sort of be more productive, but then there'll be segments which will be left out?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for having me, sir. And I would answer this question in a way that, as I told you earlier, that we have been using AI for like a year or so, but till now. We actually started using it for our personal goals. Actually, I started it to use to improve myself because I was doing programming, and I started my cybersecurity firm, and I had a lot of cases coming in, and then I had to write a lot of investigation letters. So I started using different AI tools to analyze my documents for forensics. Then I got succeeded in a lot of cases because of using the imaging technology. We had a huge data set that we trained our AI on, and then we started getting very good results in our for forensics. So that's how I started using AI, and I got to see that it is giving me a lot of it's helping me out in a way that I can earn more money. I can do my stuff very quickly, right? But on the other hand, my wife is also working with me. She's a designer, and when I told her and I showed her, see what I'm doing, I can improve the imaging of my forensic documents, and I can analyze them in a very better way. She was very reluctant using it because she's not a techie. So she was like, "Oh no, it's not gonna answer it well." I create everything by hand, so I'm still gonna use my brushes, and I'll be using my sketching pad for this. This cannot give me anything, and Chat GPT-4 was not there anymore. So at that time, so she was reluctant, and I think there was a divide at that time. But somehow, when GPT-4 arrived, she started using it. So I shared my paid account with her, and she started, researching on how does it work, and then, she adopted it. She had, I think, 17 people under her designing a lot of different stuff. So she started telling them that I think you should start using GPT-4 for your improvement, and you can do your work very quickly. So I think initially there was this divide. Yes, it was there and still there. A lot of my employees, as I told you, that we gifted them ChatGPT just to improve themselves, and they can use it for their code optimization, for debugging, and other stuff. But some of them are reluctant, and then I think this is going live. But one of my employees who was very religious, he was saying it is haram. I won't be using it because there is no real person who's answering you, so there might be something that is not appropriate as per Islamic rules, so I won't be using it. And I was kind of scared of it that why we always think negative about anything first, and then we go into it. But eventually I'm pretty much sure that that person is also going to use it, because otherwise he's going to left out. So I think the divide is there, but very soon it's going to change. In our case, as a tech company, we are working with a lot of educational institutions. We have a school management system, and now we are using AI to analyze A levels and O levels students' results. and we recommend them better universities for them. So basically, we have trained our AI with different data set models that are from our ERP system. So we feed our AI system in a very secure way by following all the data privacy policies and rules, and that's how we improve their results. And I think we can recommend them better universities for them that can really help them out and in their career path. So as Mr. Samad is working in healthcare sector, so we recently developed an application in which we are analyzing different EMRs of different patients. So it's a complete EMR management system in which we put in all the information of all the patients, and it can start recommending you better doctors for you. So, for example, if you're having pain on your left side, so it does not mean that you're having heart attack or something like that. It must be a gas problem. So that AI model can recommend you a better doctor, most probably not a cardiac surgeon, because he's going to say that yes, you're having a heart attack and I can treat you with that. So that's how we can improve our daily routines. We can improve our whole work if we start using that. The it's always better to start using it on a initial stages, because I think then we'll be getting the first mover advantage.
Yeah.
In particularly Pakistan's case, in the current scenarios, in the current financial situation, I think I see AI as one of the great ways which can take us out from this situation. We all can evolve, no matter if we are doctors, if we are like students, just like Mr. Mani said, that his students is using stuff. So yes, there are benefits, but I think some of it's going to change.
Okay. Thank you, मुस्तफा, for your perspective. So समझ साहब, आपका तो बहुत जिक्र किया है लोगों ने कि आपका हेल्थ केयर के अंदर जो काम है. So please, share with us what you guys are doing, especially on the healthcare side and even sort of otherwise. May I request others to mute? There's some feedback. No, I think Samad aapki taraf se is some feedback that's coming. But please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. And then Rizwan Saab sir ne sabse pehle mere shukriya sir, bahut shukriya. And then everyone else like Mustafa and others. So we at Digitrends, we develop mobile applications and softwares for healthcare, such as हम patient simulations बनाते हैं, हम EMRs बनाते हैं, हम जो है वो differential diagnosis system banate hain, in which you enter the data, you enter your symptoms, and a software on the basis of the given data usko analyze karke आपको differential diagnosis recommend करता है कि either it can be, जैसे उन्होंने मिसाल दी कि it can be a heart problem or it can be a gas problem, but वो थोड़ा डिटेल में होता है. हम उसमें जो है हमने AI में we have also integrated image based AI, जिसमें if you can take a picture of your region, skin region, and you can upload that particular image to that particular software के आप अपने symptoms लिख दें और dermatology से related आपने अपने symptoms डाल दिए और आपको जो भी skin region में problem हुआ हुआ है आपने उसकी तस्वीर भी डाल दी. So what our software will do, it will see the database of the images related to that particular disease, and then it will match the results, and then it will recommend the doctor. It will give the differential diagnosis 3 and 4 main differential diagnosis. You can say type of differential diagnosis with the recommendation, first recommendation to second recommendation, and then it gives on the basis of that differential diagnosis, our software give the data related to the prevention, related to the treatment, related to the medical guideline and medication, and all the information a patient must have or a doctor should share with the patient. So this is us, Digitrends. We are currently working with one of the leading multinational pharmaceutical in Pakistan integrating ChatGPT with that for their applications called Metcon. They want to develop a mobile application for the doctors, which would help doctor again in differential diagnosis and in searching their daily medical needs in terms of when they are looking forward into the drug interaction between the two drugs. So they need to integrate AI technology in that. Chatbot trying to level or the consumer level
freeze हो रही है आवाज थोड़ी सी.
where consumer can enter in.
I think you're frozen, Samarth. So, while you fix the internet, let me circle back to other panelists and Rizwan, coming back to you. You talked about how Inbox use AI and such technology for the real effective use, like NCOC के अंदर recommending the hotspots and everything. Could you sort of talk a bit more about it? And it's a very life-saving kind of an application, जो कि आप लोगों ने इसको sort of इस्तेमाल किया. Any other such projects that you are working on? Any other verticals that you guys are working on that you want to share with the listeners?
Actually, currently, the most important thing that we really need to focus on and which we have initiated work on is related to business operations, right? So numerous tasks being already performed by individuals, by having human agents. The ability to actually reduce the cost impact of those tasks, the ability to have an agent being able to respond around the clock, even though that is not new, but with the capabilities of Chat GPT, the natural language processing and the way that has actually been brought in, that has opened up a lot of avenues. That's something that we are working on. The other thing that we are also working on is obviously, with the Copilot and these, development related work. So yeah, so that's another thing that is also being brought in. With you talked about NCOC again, and I just want to highlight a particular point over here. That actually started for me my personal journey in the exploration of some of the ethical concerns with AI. So I deeply got involved in that because there was a lot of citizens' data that was going around, that was being collected, that was being utilized in a certain way, and there were certain privacy concerns and so many other things. It was beautifully handled, alhamdulillah, and a lot of those concerns were settled. But when you talk about using AI and all the wonderful use cases that all my co-panelists have also talked about, there's a lot out there that is going on, but we have to maintain some sort of oversight in terms of this, that what is the right thing to do. And just to highlight one easy way of doing that is probably the European Union standards that they brought out. So that was something that addressed biases and so many other areas in that.
Just a thought. Do you think can AI be applied and replace a court judge, and sort of listen to both parties and give a judgment? I mean, it will be unbiased, but of course it depends on how the model has been trained.
The model has been trained.
Do you think? Yeah. So do you think
So,
there's such a use case?
On Twitter, I saw actually a tweet by someone that they had asked this particular question to ChatGPT, and the question was that what are all the jobs that are going to be replaced? A very logical question, and ChatGPT in a very diplomatic way had responded that all right, these can be replaced, and on these particular areas you can also improve yourself, right? So it sort of
Yeah.
responded in a very diplomatic way, which was good. Uh, I- in my personal opinion, maybe the lawyers' tasks would be eased out in the initial phases. It'll take a long time before we actually are able to trust a non-human judge, right? Because we have to, come up to that level and understand what biases actually impact the training model, right? And as these things progress, we would then be able to, understand it in a better way. But yeah, if you talk about the legal profession, I think the lawyers need to be more concerned immediately. Uh, from this perspective, that whether their arguments would be already pre-structured and just presented before the judge before they are even required to speak, or would it just make their task easier? So this is something that the developers and the legal fraternity can work together on bringing harmony towards it.
Okay, great, great. So Ibrahim, switching back to you. So the impact on society, uh, and I still sort of I have this question in my mind. So will it make us bit more couch potatoes, lazy bums who can just sort of dish out questions? And well, I think there are some movies as well where I think the writers have kind of predicted that we're just gonna use our brains and the bodies are sort of not of use anymore. So it will be that connected. या आपके ख्याल में this is something that will plateau. So it will not keep on sort of spreading or getting sort of bigger than what it is. Yeah, you think in few years' time it will be very, very big and beyond everybody's control. And what Rizwan also talked about, some of the ethical questions will become very, very real and moral questions. What do you think?
So I think that's a very interesting discussion. So there are two proponents. One says that AI is benevolent and it will serve mankind, and the other side says that there are like the dangers that you mentioned, of automation, of rendering of human beings to to not contribute too much to the economy. Like Munir Saab said that he has folks on the research side, but he hasn't called them in the past few weeks. So I think that somewhat highlights the potential of AI and the fact that it can replace bulk of human labor and human input. But we'll have to see that. I think the companies that are behind these technologies, some responsibility lies on them, that we need to have some sort of frameworks defined that that can safeguard potential uses of AI technology, and we need to control on who has access to such technology. So I was researching about about ChatGPT 4 and 3.5 and some of the earlier models. So right now it's more than 500 billion parameters which has access to ChatGPT 4. So this figure can go well beyond a trillion parameters, and AI technology having that much capability. So we have to consider, and there was an open letter led by Elon Musk and other CEOs from tech companies that wanted to put a halt on AI research for at least 6 months to sit back and thought out on what are the possible ramifications of AI technology and how we can safeguard human interest. But I think that, but then we go to a sci-fi realm, and there perhaps sometimes we overestimate what a technology can do, and probably underestimate on the human potential. But I think there are more positives than negatives. I think AI technology bring in more positive things, but I think like any technology, like the internet, like other technology, we need to have frameworks. Governments need to sit together and define and its positive use cases, and perhaps there are also privacy concerns. There are AI tools that can generate 3D and image technology, and you might have seen a lot of images going around that you see Elon Musk in Pakistan or Donald Trump in Pakistan. I think there's a concern for privacy as well, and I think if we can safeguard privacy concerns and piracy concerns, and that human intellectual property, if we can safeguard that, and if we have rules in place, then I think it's very beneficial. It will enable human technology to explore new realms in science and technology, in software development. So yeah, I think I if I put my if you ask me the question, I'll be on the positive side. I think AI technology brings in more positives, but notwithstanding, I think we need to focus on having some sort of a constitution that governs its use cases on the future of AI technology. So yeah,
Yeah.
the future
No,
is
thank
bright.
you. Thank you. Yeah. So, Munir Saab, what do you think? ये जो biases हैं, which we are talking about, which this technology is more sort of prone to than other sort of waves of innovation that has happened in last, I don't know, 30, 40 years or 50 years. I mean, will we see these biases come more sooner than later? या ये latent ही रहेंगी and will, because हमारे अपने भी biases होते हैं ना, so it will hit us maybe later. And how will it impact, for example, the legislation, some of the other sort of things? Will it have an impact? Yeah, this is something hand in glove जो कि develop होता जाएगा और adopt करते जाएंगे हम.
यहाँ पर मैं ये कहूँगा कि थोड़ी सी इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जांपल से मैं बताऊंगा कि जब हम छोटे होते थे तो आपको पता है कि कैलकुलेटर्स आए, और कैलकुलेटर्स हमने जब यूज़ करना शुरू किए तो दो तरह के लोग थे. तो एक कहते थे कि यार कैलकुलेटर से आप लेजी हो जाओगे, आपका ब्रेन काम नहीं करेगा और फिर ऐसे हो जाएगा वैसे हो जाएगा. और दूसरी तरफ थे वो लोग, मतलब हम स्टूडेंट थे तो हम कहते थे नहीं यार ये यूज़ करो, क्या यार अब इतना लंबा मल्टीप्लिकेशन में बैठ के करो. तो सेम हिस्ट्री रिपीट हो रही है इन केस ऑफ एआई, दैट हम अब ये डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, शायद हमसे पहले वाले हमारे बड़ों ने किया होगा डिस्कशन कि आइदर कैलकुलेटर सही है या नहीं. आई रिमेंबर कि मैंने जब पहला अपना जॉब स्टार्ट किया तो माय बॉस यूज्ड टू रिमेंबर ऑलमोस्ट 1000 नंबर्स, मोबाइल नंबर्स, और मुझे अभी सिर्फ 2 नंबर याद हैं, एक अपना और एक अपनी बीवी का. सो यस, कुछ टास्क ऐसे होंगे जो आपको सरेंडर करने पड़ेंगे. आप उससे लेजी भी हो सकते हैं लेकिन एक्टिव भी रह सकते हैं अगर आप अपनी अभी भी आप देखें तो हमारे इर्द कुछ दोस्त ऐसे हैं वो अपनी रनिंग को, अपनी एक्सरसाइज को वो कंटिन्यू रखते हैं. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन अस. सो व्हाट आई सी इज दैट कुछ चीज़ें ऐसे होंगी जो ऑफ कोर्स एलिमिनेट हो जाएंगी और कुछ ऐड हो जाएंगी, बिकॉज ह्यूमन इंटेलेक्ट इज मोर पावरफुल देन एआई. ठीक है, एआई कैलकुलेशन फास्ट करता है. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैंने प्राइम नंबर कैलकुलेट करने हैं तो मेरा कंप्यूटर जल्दी से कर लेगा, मुझे देर लगेगी, लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स उसे प्रोग्राम मैंने किया है. सो आई बिलीव दैट ह्यूमन विल सुपरसीड in almost all the cases, but it will keep changing with the passage of time. So and yes, there is a privacy concern in using these technologies. लाइक आप लोगों ने भी सुना होगा कि अभी अमेरिका में एक सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी के डेवलपर्स ने क्या किया कि पूरे का पूरा कोड जो है वो पेस्ट कर दिया. तो अब ऑब्वियस सी बात है कि वो जब इस तरह की कोई चीज़ें होंगी तो उसके प्रॉब्लम भी आएंगे. या फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने एक असाइनमेंट दिया अपने एक स्टूडेंट को, सो ही यूज्ड चैट जीपीटी. So and on the other side, I was very busy, so I wanted to check the test. I put it in the chat GPT and he claimed that he written by chat GPT itself. So there was 2 to 3 lines were missing and chat GPT continued, so he completed the code that this is the rest of the code. So I was smiling like this. I said, oh, this what's going on.
So maybe it will force us to rethink our curriculum and how we sort of teach our students.
Exactly. Being a teacher, sorry,
Yeah.
I interrupted you too quickly. Actually, we used to have a Turnitin for checking the assignments. So my students, they are submitting an assignment, so I'm checking with Turnitin either it is plagiarized or not.
Yeah.
So being a teacher, it is very difficult now because AI tools, you use ChatGPT, complete an assignment, and then you submit it to me. Okay, and I will be checking. So there is a tool to check it is a generative text or not. Then there is another tool, Quillboard. So you can paraphrase and it is impossible to detect. So teachers have to learn more, focus more on the assignment so they can teach very well. And of course, students are more smarter than the teachers, so they find alternative ways. Like we used to use calculator or different formulas. So it will keep going on. So I think it is very positive, in my opinion. And there is no problem, and it will not stop. This talks that someone is stopping it for 6 months and someone is stopping it 1 year, I don't believe in it. That there will be companies, those will keep working on it, and they will bring something new. Like Elon Musk, we are talking about him too much. He is now changing Twitter into a new company, and he have new kind of a WeChat parallel to China's WeChat. So I don't think so it will pass. And other researchers, they are importing these model and they are customizing it. So for example, different students of me, and also my PhD is into deep learning. So there are open source model, everyone is downloading and rebuilding them. Yes, there is a problem that there are many applications and websites are there, those are sniffing this data and information which people don't know. Because today I will make a website and make some claims and people will start using it. So we have to see in a perspective of Pakistan that how we can safeguard our most important information. Or of course the different authorities will be looking into it. I'm not sure about it, but this is a major concern
Yeah.
that we have to use for.
Yeah. No, one thing definitely that has happened, and at least it has happened to me, that I have become smarter asking smarter questions, because the type of questions that I ask, the kind of answers that I get, and then I think consuming the content that ChatGPT throws at you, it's very logical, it's extremely structured.
Correct.
So that also sort of trains you to sort of be more structured and be more logical. I thought that for Pakistani professionals, people, it's a bit of a challenge, because we're a bit sort of ad hoc. हम वो logical train को normally use नहीं करते हैं. So Samad, you're back, and I see you have a better connection now. Sorry, we lost you. You were explaining. So if you could sort of just continue in terms of what solutions your company is creating, and also then just bridging the discussion that we're happening in healthcare. Any sort of ethical issues that you see emerging right now? Yeah, abhi to it's just productivity की curve है जो कि improve हो रही है, and everybody's embracing AI, because it's going to really help the practitioners, the doctors, the patients, everybody. What's your perspective?
First of all, apologies for the actually it was not the internet, it was the laptop. Windows में कोई malfunction हो गया था. So I was talking about the decision first. So we develop healthcare technology solutions for doctors, for hospitals. But the relevant product which I wanted to share, I was discussing about that actually a differential diagnosis tool we developed on using the AI technology. So I was telling you it is capable of doing AI image-based recognition, in which you can upload the picture of your skin region, and when you upload the picture, it will check with the database of the similar diseases, and then it gives you the differential diagnosis. It gives to the doctor. Either it can be a psoriasis or an eczema or anything. So we did it on AI basis. So AI technology is like we have developers for it, and I myself is not from a technical background. I am the CEO of a company. My CTO and my technical team, they have the command on this technology. But what we do, we go to leading national pharmaceuticals, multinational pharmaceuticals, and we discuss with them. Nowadays, everyone is talking about the Chat GPT and AI functionality with us. They want to do it. They want to do it as soon as possible. They want to become a pioneer. They want to catch the bus actually, but they don't know what they actually want. No one knows. When we tell them there are the limitations of Chat GPT, it cannot recommend you this medication. It has the limitation. It says go to the doctor, check with your doctor team, we cannot recommend you any medicine. It can not recommend even the FMCG product like over the counter Panadol. It cannot recommend you the Panadol as well. So it's trained like this. It has to be, you have to contact your doctor. It is trained like that. So, but we are going to integrate in mindfulness application. We can do that. We are going to integrate in like Mustafa said, we can integrate in EHR and EMR solution. That's not the issue. And the first thing, the main thing was we have signed the recent agreement with one of the leading multinational pharmaceuticals in Pakistan. We are integrating Chat GPT and AI solution with drug interaction. So when the doctor want to see if Augmentin and amoxicillin can interact with each other, and what will happen if I'll give you both the medicine at the same time to the particular patient. So on it, now it can be done via ChatGPT. It can be done via AI system as well. So we are working on it. Recently, we have launched the beta version of it with the image based AI and this ChatGPT integration. But right now, what we are facing, what I am facing, lack of data, because AI is all about data. As if you don't have the data, you cannot predict, you cannot get the good results. So we are not very good in that. We are not in the digital space. Pakistan is a bit far behind in terms of digital era. So data is the problem. The other problem is the resources. We are in our education system, in universities and other institutes, the product is the students which are coming out of, they are not ready for they are not very well equipped, they are not very well educated. So that's the problem. The developers are learning from YouTube. They're not getting anything from university. I'm sorry if, like, I'm being very blunt about it, but they are learning by themselves. They are learning by their seniors. They're not learning by their teachers, unfortunately. So these two problems can be like can make the difference. If we go to the digital era, we digitalize everything and we get good data, so we can get the good prediction on AI basis. And the other thing is resources. We should educate our new generation according to the new tools, according to the new technologies we are facing. And Pakistan is like, we are the young population in majority in Pakistan. So if we convert this young population into the technologist, this kind of technologist, so I'm sure we can take the lead in the world. But right now we are shortage of resources and shortage of knowledge. That's my 2 cents on it.
Thank you, Samad. So Mustafa, online, मैंने तो personally I've given into online any recommendation and everything. I've stopped thinking, what is sort of maneuvered, what is biased, whatever sort of, the device is listening and everything is sort of, so I've kind of given in. It's like, okay, let's enjoy the benefits. And I have cameras at my home as well, वो ring के लगे हुए हैं, and I'm sure they're also looking at that and sniffing. So what do you think about having, and Samad talked about creating a digital footprint of people, and Pakistan definitely, I mean, we have a lot of offline sort of transactions, which I'm sure nobody knows, even the government doesn't know, let alone AI को कैसे पता चलेगा. So for a country like this where there's a lot of undocumented sort of transaction, etc. So do you think the benefits are going to penetrate into the middle and the lower segments? Yeah, it's going to remain on people who are online.
No, I don't think so, because as Samad bhai told, we have different kind of challenges in Pakistan. So if we talk about AI, कि वो दुनिया में किस तरह चल रहा है, पाकिस्तान में किस तरह चल रहा है, तो फिर शायद वो थोड़ी सी जरा मैच नहीं करेगी, because हम थोड़ा सा negative aspect को, जिस तरह मैंने पहले बताया, that we always discuss the negative aspect of it in the first place. मेरे ख्याल से ऐसा नहीं होएगा बिकॉज आई नो समवन हु वाज वर्किंग विद एग्रीटेक जो जिस तरह अभी रिजवान साहब ने भी जिक्र किया दैट ही इज आल्सो वर्किंग इन एग्रीटेक एंड फार्मर्स वाली साइड के ऊपर बिकॉज वो बड़े लोअर तबके के लोग होते हैं सो उनको ये प्रॉब्लम आता है कि वो एक अभी मेरी वाइफ की कुछ ज़मीनें हैं तो वो बता रहे थे कि वो आने वाला है दल कोई होता है टिड्डी दल ठीक है सो वो आने वाला है तो हमारी फसलें तबाह हो जाएंगी तो वो हो जाएंगी एंड दैट जेंटलमैन जो वर्किंग ऑन द एग्रीटेक ही हैड अ सॉल्यूशन फॉर इट कि आपने अपने क्रॉप्स को किस तरह से कवर करना है एंड बाय यूजिंग एआई एंड ही आल्सो हैड टेक्नोलॉजी जिसमें कोई इंफ्रारेड को यूज करके दे कैन रिपेल द बग्स फ्रॉम द क्रॉप कि वो आपका साइड पे कहीं पे निकल जाते हैं सो बट आई थिंक इसी तरह की टेक्नोलॉजीज विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम बहुत ज़्यादा अडॉप्ट कर ली जाएंगी जिसमें एग्रीटेक के अंदर एक लोअर तबके को इससे बड़ा फायदा होएगा फिर मिड टीयर के अंदर इफ वी टॉक अबाउट आवर रिसोर्सेज सो आई डोंट थिंक कि इससे नौकरियां चली जाएंगी बिकॉज आई वाज रीडिंग अ ब्लॉग जिसके अंदर वो कह रहे थे कि एआई इज गोना किल लॉट ऑफ पीपल बिकॉज यू नो इट्स गोना स्टील द जॉब्स नो आई डोंट बिलीव इन दैट आई पर्सनली थिंक कि कोई इंसान का बच्चा हो अगर तो वो उससे अपस्किल और रीस्किल करेगा ठीक है बजाय इसके कि वो कहे जी अब कंटेंट राइटिंग तो खत्म हो गई है आई थिंक आई शुड यू नो डू समथिंग एल्स ऐसे नहीं होएगा उसको अपने स्किल को और इम्प्रूव करना पड़ेगा जिस तरह समद भाई अभी बोल रहे थे ये बड़ी अच्छी बात इन्होंने बोली है दैट आई थिंक इट्स चैलेंज के हमारे पास रिसोर्सेज अभी ना उतने वेल ट्रेंड नहीं है दे ऑल आर लर्निंग फ्रॉम यूट्यूब तो जो उनको एक बेसिक एक स्कीम होती है टू लर्न समथिंग स्पेशली इन प्रोग्रामिंग और यू नो इन एनी टेक्निकल फील्ड we're bypassing it and I think AI can help us out in that regard जिस तरह अभी मैंने भी आपको बताया कि हमने उनको खाली इसलिए नहीं दिया चैट जीपीटी अपने एम्प्लॉयज को कि वो खाली इसको यूज करें कंटेंट लिखने के लिए वटेवर लिखने के लिए स्काई इज द लिमिट मैं आपको अपनी एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ इट्स यू नो फनी वन जिस तरह एडॉप्शन की भी बात हो रही थी आई हैड एन आर्ग्यूमेंट विद माय वाइफ just like we all do. So I was, you know, talking to ChatGPT as a, you know, my वो क्या होता है therapist. So मैंने उससे
Confidant.
क्या कोई हल बताएं इसका कि क्या किया जाए इसका तो वो उसने आगे जवाब दिया उसने कहा भाईजान जाएं जाके बीवी से apologize करें and make her the way you value her. So I think this issue is going to resolve. I was not convinced, obviously, with the answer because I was not ready mentally to go and talk to her. But on the next day, I found out because she's sharing my account, that just like I told you, she was also searching the same phrase there. और वो भी ढूंढ रही थी कि अब हम उससे कैसे बात करें ठीक है सो बहुत सारी चीज़ों के अंदर वो हिस्ट्री के अंदर उसमें आ जाता है तो वो बहुत सारी चीज़ों के अंदर आई थिंक इट कैन हेल्प अस आउट इन सॉर्टिंग आउट लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज मैं उसको प्रोफेशनली भी यूज़ कर रहा हूँ अपने पर्सनल घर में भी यूज़ कर रहा हूँ even my wife told my house help to use it to make you know good pasta she was saying कि अच्छा आप ही वो उसमें से मुझे निकाल दें कि अच्छा पास्ता कैसे बनता है जरा तो वो बहुत सारी छोटे लेवल के ऊपर भी हमें यूटिलाइज करने के लिए बहुत सारी जगह हैं जहाँ पे अभी हम इसको इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं होगा ज़रूर होगा मैं और आप आई थिंक इट्स आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू यू नो टेल अबाउट द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ AI to you know small level people जो थोड़े नीचे लेवल पे काम कर रहे हैं and I think in coming next couple of years आप देखिएगा कि बहुत सारे लोग इसकी adoption की तरफ आ जाएंगे ठीक है सो आई डोंट थिंक कि ये खाली लिमिट रहेगा बहुत ही एजुकेटेड लोग होंगे मैं बल्कि अभी जिस तरह अभी आप कह रहे थे कि इंटेलिजेंट होना पड़ता है उसको पूछने के लिए भी ना राइट सो मैं आई वाज जस्ट गोइंग थ्रू सम टूल्स तो उसके अंदर एक टूल हमें ऐसा मिला उसको आप बेसिक्स आप बताएं उसको बोलें कि भाई मुझे चैट जीपीटी के लिए एक प्रॉम्प्ट लिख के दे दो इस बात का एंड इट विल गिव यू अ परफेक्ट प्रॉम्प्ट ठीक है वेरी इंटेलिजेंट वन जिससे वो आपको देगा ठीक है उसका रिजल्ट देगा so there are so many things going on there are so many extensions of GPT there are so many extensions of AI that can be utilized for the betterment of any kind of people
Zabardast. So just being cognizant of the time, and Samad also highlighted a very good sort of. I'm pointed towards an issue, jo ke I think if you want to improve on AI, तो the two issues, skill नहीं है और data वो नहीं है. So just a question, Rizwan, I'll start with you and then I'll invite others, if they want to contribute. You're involved at policy making level as well, in terms of ICT, the government level as well. So how ready Pakistani policymakers are, or even if they are not, what are you trying to do? Is there an effort going on to bring the stakeholders, and who are the stakeholders for such technology? Of course, what typical Ministry of IT वगैरह तो होता ही है, but is there something which is happening at the government level as well?
Yeah, well, actually, not much is happening. Just to be very frank, not much is happening. There is very little understanding of the problems. There is very little understanding of the ethical concerns as well, even though there are very comprehensive standards and regulations in other countries and in other regions that can be, brought in and emulated. We are still actually we are still between AI and AGI. So the actual concerns have still not hit us as yet, the ethical concerns. And probably the most important factor which needs to be brought out in regulations and policies, legislations, is the fact that human rights are supreme, right? So human agency is the fundamental rule for before we reach AGI, before we actually step into that domain. So we need to be very clear. Whatever regulations are brought in, they have to first of all honor the rights of a human being, who is then allowed to interact or is interacting with AGI or AI, whatever stage it is at. So that is very important. All the other ethical concerns will be following suit from that. So I hope
So
that
no,
I really
definitely.
cannot
Just
talk about the various agencies or the regulators that would be involved, because that's still very vague right now.
But in Europe, who was the lead for doing such policy work, if you know?
I would pitch MOITT at the moment. I would like to see the MOIT, stepping forward in that, supported by the academia. The academia has a very, very key role in all of this. And unfortunately, we have not seen a lot of confluence between policy making, public policy making, and technologists sitting together to, actually work on these things. So that is something that really needs to be worked on.
Great point. So Ibrahim, is it something that Code for Pakistan is thinking about taking? I mean, as a front. I mean, a lot of countries, it's the pressure groups or think tanks or NGOs, maybe like yourself, who take up this agenda to educate the government and the policymakers. Are you guys thinking on these lines?
Yes, most certainly. I think there's a lot of potential within Pakistan, I think, in terms of the policy making and regulation side. And I think we need to talk to governments and educational institutes that perhaps we can include academic courses within the curriculums of computer sciences and engineering degrees. And also, I think we need to have some policy at the workplace and different sectors as well. So I think there is a need for that, and I think from AI and more so on automation. I think considering that Pakistan globally, if you talk about Pakistan competing with global manufacturers, I think we need to introduce more automation within our industry, and we need to be more competitive. And I think the government needs to create some policy that allows manufacturers and industries to import machinery that are more capable of automation and and artificial intelligence capabilities as well. And I attended a conference recently, and there was a similar question regarding that where Pakistan, if you talk about the global market cap of this industry, I think it's in trillions of dollars, and what's Pakistan's input in that? And I think that is a pressing question. And civil society organizations, corporations, higher education institutes, we need to sit together and decide and how we want to contribute. And I think what's positive in Pakistan's case is a large segment of the population is the youth, and I think we need to focus on skill training programs and capacity building programs so that we can participate in this growing economy. And I think more on the academic side, more on the engineering side, not just be the consumers of technology, but also the creators of technology. So I think there is potential, but we need to talk to relevant people. The Ministry of IT is, relevant ministries are important. Ministry of Human Development, other ministries that are related to the whole, industries which AI will touch and transform. So Port of Pakistan is interested in doing that. We have worked in the past on similar initiatives, and we look forward to contribute as much as we can, so that we can figure this out for Pakistan.
Thank you, thank you. So, Mustapha, what would you sort of what are your expectations from the government, other than the fact that they should stay away from?
Not much. Not much, because I used to work for some state institutions like FIA. I could not get into something that really helped me out in sorting out some issues with cybersecurity compliance. So I'm not pretty much convinced that the government is going to do something about it very quickly. I think it's us, the private sector, that is more hungry about AI, because if we don't adopt the AI, then we're gonna earn less money, and that's what's more concerning for us. So the private sector would play a very important part in supervising or implementing the AI all across the country. मेरी बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ उम्मीदें इसलिए भी नहीं है बिकॉज हमारी जो आईटी मिनिस्ट्री भी है, मैंने बहुत सारी कुछ रिक्वेस्ट दी थी, हमारे बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स ने दी थी, इवन पाशा हैज सबमिटेड लॉट ऑफ रिक्वेस्ट रिकमेंडेशंस, दे आर स्टिल अनहर्ड. तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता है वहाँ पे करवाना. लेकिन आई थिंक अगर हम अपने पर्सनल लेवल के ऊपर भी, इंडिविजुअल लेवल के ऊपर भी इसको अडॉप्ट करना शुरू करें और अपने अपने सेगमेंट्स के अंदर वाली इवॉल्व करना शुरू कर दें, देन आई थिंक द गवर्नमेंट विल लिसन, because they need dollars, and then फिर हमारे पास पैसा आएगा by implementing AI, and then they'll listen to us. They need something very concrete before we go and talk to them. Otherwise, मेरे experience के मुताबिक, I'll be very blunt in this, it's not very bad.
I mean, sometimes we see that technology permeation happens at a faster rate when the government is not really attending towards
Yes,
it, because it really,
Well,
innovation really thrives and everything. So
Yes.
maybe it could be that use case, and it could come later. And if we are laggards in that aspect, so be it. Munir Saab, your perspective on this.
जी रेहान भाई, मैं फिर थोड़ा सा डिफरेंटली ऐड करूंगा, क्योंकि मैं हूँ तो इंडस्ट्री में हूँ, लेकिन पिछले 3 साल से मैं एकेडमिया के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूँ. मैंने भी अपनी PhD ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट की है. देखें, अगर गवर्नमेंट पे देखें तो HEC एक इदारा है जो बेसिकली यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को रेगुलेट करता है, जो लेटेस्ट कोर्सेज या करिकुलम आ रहा होता है. तो मैंने कोई यूनिवर्सिटी ऐसी नहीं देखी जब से मैं उनसे इंटरेक्ट कर रहा हूँ कि जहाँ पर मशीन लर्निंग, डीप लर्निंग, साइबर सिक्योरिटी और बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स, मैं खुद तकरीबन 6 सेशन जो हैं बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स के पढ़ा चुका हूँ. तो आज अगर मुनीर यहाँ बैठा हुआ है तो मैंने अपने टीचर से पढ़ा बेसिक्स ऑफ कंप्यूटर, फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ कंप्यूटर, एडवांस ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड, और ये पढ़कर मुनीर बन गया. So I see a very potential in the youth. They are now learning machine learning, deep learning. They are very good at using Python and different tools. They are building up, and definitely they will come up. I have some youngsters; those are working with me. We have over 100 international publications. I am co-chair to 3 prestigious conferences in Dubai, which was fully sponsored by the universities of UAE, where all the papers were all the participation was done by from Pakistani universities. So we hope, inshallah, these students, like when we were studying in the university, the same issues were there, that there is no support from the government. Yes, that is true, but we have to be positive at the same time, that youth is growing. Yes, we are also learning from the YouTube day to day, but as a teacher, I believe that teacher cannot teach everything. I have 13 to 14 weeks course. I cannot teach a whole bunch of programming code in 1 hour class. So what I can teach is the fundamentals. So our teacher, what they did with us, They taught us the fundamentals, that these are the fundamentals, key points of object oriented. Then we hands on YouTube, Google, and different stuff, and we are sitting here discussing this point. So I don't want to blame teachers, being a teacher as well, and their responsibility, because I am 15 years as representing United Insurance, is the fifth largest company of Pakistan. Then my group decided me to move to academia to bridge, get some, flavor of youngsters. And really, we got very good, smart and intellectual guys from the university. We just need to put them on the right place, give them 6 months or a year, they will learn everything. Our machine learning guys, they are doing wonders. We already have a CXO talk, so I'm not going into that detail. That what we are doing at a group level, but a lot of tools our young guys are doing, 22 years old, 23 years old guys.
Thank you very much. G. Samad Sahab, you have the sort of the last chance to respond, or what is your summary of this? How do you? You already have laid out data or skills ka hona chahiye, but anything else that you wish that the ecosystem should support, or the government or the policymaker should talk about? You're on mute, Samad.
Sorry. So thank you again. First of all, no hard feeling, Muni. I was not actually targeting the teachers. They are not like when they were reading. The technology was not there. So of course they have to learn every day. And but as an institute, like teacher is a different thing. Institute is a different thing. Institute can plan, can import teacher from international market. So yeah, it can give the access to the technology to the student. It can give the hands-on experience, workshops, the things like you were saying, बच्चे 22 साल के बच्चे, they are doing good in compared to the 30 साल के लड़के और 35 साल के लड़के. So how they are doing good? Because they are getting it from the international market. They are getting it from the YouTube. They are getting it from the internet, from different resources. They're not getting it from the institute. They're not getting it from the teachers, unfortunately. So there is a lack, and you sitting at the right place. We can look we can like we can look at to you and people like you. Because mashallah, you have the good experience that you're working at the right place for the right people at the right time. वाली बात है कि आप जो है किस तरह का मतलब ये कि if you feel this is the gap, you should do something about it, all of you together. And then we are available. मतलब आप हमें बोलें कि यार ये 10 बच्चों की या 50 बच्चों की जॉब निकालो हर महीने 3 महीने के लिए इंटर्न पे. Trends and companies like Trends will always welcome you. We need resources. ठीक है, we are working with Salani. You compare, we can believe कि एक ज़माने में हम जो है वो फास्ट और इधर उधर के जो होते हैं उनके पीछे हम होते थे. अब we are sitting with Salani के CEO और उनसे टाइम लेके जाते हैं. उनको बोलते हैं यार ये नया बैच आ रहा है, देखें हम पढ़ा देते हैं, हमारे ले लें डेवलपर्स, हम पढ़ा देंगे, ये कोर्स आप नहीं कराते, हमारे साथ मिलके करा दें, हमें बच्चे दे दें आप, हमें लड़के दे दें आप AI के ऊपर. ठीक है, तो हम इस लेवल पे जा चुके. तो अगर आपको इस तरह की चीज़ हमारी तरफ से, हम जैसे IT कंपनी से आपको चाहिए, तो मतलब I'm sure Rizwan will second me on this, and other people sitting here, they will second me on this.
I will.
Yes, so we are here for you. But जो academia वाला है ना, वो it need to be strong. First thing. Second thing, जो मैंने बोला था, डाटा का इशू है, डिजिटल नहीं है. हम वो गवर्नमेंट लेवल पे, अब जैसे हम एक EMR सेंट्रलाइज EMR हम 5 साल हो गए, हम जो है वो गवर्नमेंट से बात भी कर रहे हैं, प्राइवेट लेवल पे भी उसको करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हॉस्पिटल से ही बात कर रहे हैं, PMDC से ही बात कर रहे हैं. एक नॉर्मल बात कर रहे हैं कि यार सबका सेंट्रलाइज EMR बना दो कि मैं एक पेशेंट हूँ, मेरा जो है वो मैं आगा खान से लाकर जाऊँ तो फाइल लेके नहीं जाऊँ, मेरा सिंपल एक MR रिकॉर्ड होना चाहिए, वो सिंपल सा, उसमें सारा डाटा होना चाहिए, डॉक्टर को पता होना चाहिए, डिजिटल होना चाहिए, मेरी प्रॉपर्टी होना चाहिए. नहीं हो रहा पाकिस्तान में. सो दिस हैज टू बी डन एट द गवर्नमेंट लेवल. मेरे पास एमिरेट्स आईडी है दुबई की, मेरी उस एमिरेट्स आईडी पे मेरा डाटा भी है, मेरा बैंक का, इवन कि मुझे पोस्ट भी, पोस्टल मैन पोस्ट देने आता है, तो वो भी मेरे एमिरेट्स आईडी अपनी डिवाइस पे डालता है, देखता है कि मैं मतलब एलिजिबल हूँ और चीज़ के लिए, मैं कोई मतलूब तो नहीं हूँ, मैं कोई मुफरूर तो नहीं हूँ। फिर वो मुझे मेरा एक नॉर्मल एनवलप लिफाफा जो होता है वो पकड़ा है, जिसमें मेरा बिल है, एक्चुअली वो बिल पकड़ा के चले जाता है। वो इस लेवल पे अपना आपको डिजिटलाइज कर चुके हैं, सेंट्रलाइज कर चुके हैं, मेरी सारी मूवमेंट सब कुछ एमिरेट्स आईडी पे, बैंक अकाउंट मेरा, ईएमआर मेरा, एवरीथिंग। बट हमारे यहाँ जो है वो प्रॉब्लम है। तो गवर्नमेंट पे तो यहाँ बात ही नहीं कर सकते, वो तो खैर जो हमारे दूसरे प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, प्लेटफॉर्म लाइक पीस है, प्लेटफॉर्म लाइक आशा, प्लेटफॉर्म लाइक सीएक्सओ, जो कि सीएक्सओ की टीम जो वो दे शुड टॉक टू गवर्नमेंट। आई होप एक दिन आएगा कि वहाँ हम कुछ कर लेंगे। बट प्राइवेट सेक्टर पे और एकेडमिक सेक्टर पे जो हम कर सकते हैं वो हम कर रहे हैं। आप जैसे लोग माशाल्लाह अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, रिजवान साहब जैसे लोग बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, तो मैं बहुत इम्प्रेस हूँ। तो कुछ मैं अगर कर सका तो आई एम ऑलवेज अवेलेबल। बट मैंने सिर्फ जो है ना, आई जस्ट शेयर माय थॉट्स विद यू। आई वाज नॉट रेफरिंग टू द टीचर्स, आई जस्ट शेयर कि यार ये दो मसले ये ठीक हो जाएंगे तो हम ज्यादा इंप्रूव करेंगे। Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Rizwan, you unmuted. You want to say something?
No, thank you so much. I mean, it's been an absolute delight.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in, and thank you for the panelists for taking time out. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.